Hey guys, Nananki here, bringing you another round of Team Fortress 2 gameplay commentary. Today I was playing some Demo Man on Badwater, fairly standard loadout, lock and load, sticky bomb launcher in the bottle. I think I'm actually using the Scottish Handshake, the alternate bottle that has no differences whatsoever. And we had been run over pretty badly a couple rounds in a row actually by the other team, but I always like to stick it out even when there's a very, very stacked team on the other opposing side. You never know when it might get balanced, you know, a few people joined and all of a sudden we had a pretty good fight on our hands. We had a very competent medic, and things went pretty smoothly after a certain point, and we turned it around. And I would not have probably commentated this round because there were not a lot of standout, amazing shots on my part, except for the fact that there were two, like, point-blank cart saves in this round. I like that mutual kill as well. Trying to get stickies on a ledge that you're below with the arc is, like, impossible. I come out of this teleporter, and, like, nobody saw me, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just keep shooting stickies, and right there I jumped to get away from the heavy. You know, that's a really effective way to get away, but I propelled myself all the way into a corner. So make sure you do, you know what's behind you before you go for something crazy like that. So I figured I'd get away from the initial push there, the heavy with the medic and everything, by going to the roof, and I just get blasted in the back by that scout. That scout has my number several times in this video. He's a very, very good scout. There, right there, I did not even notice that blue soldier. When I turned around, I was like, what, was that a blue guy? And he was gone. I was like, alright, I don't know. And right here, pure team support is what saved me on this one. I'm right in the midst of everybody. By all rights, I should be dead, but you see rockets streaming in from behind me. Bullet fire streaming in from behind me. Well, that's actually bullet fire streaming in from the front. But my point remains valid that, you know, even if you're not a heavy, sometimes you can be a damage magnet as long as you've got a medic on you to stand out in the middle and not get hit enough to die and allow your teammates to have clearer shots at your opposition. Though, of course, in this particular exchange, the pressure did not cease. We killed a bunch of them, but I kept trying to hit the medic there. I expected him to head back the other direction, but he just hung out there meleeing and unfortunately lost my medic, Finch, there. Unfortunately had to charge at that, but we weren't in a really optimal position to deploy it anyway, and I was like, I'm going to get meleeed in midair by a Demo Man. You are not a market gardener. What are you doing? I half expect them to add that for Demo Man, but then I think they probably won't because they don't want to take that away from Soldier, since it's kind of a Soldier thing. If they gave it to another class, it would kind of water it down a little bit. And here's that scout again, and I'm just kind of having a guess at where he's coming from. And even though they got the cart, you know, I still backed off in that situation because I did not have any stickies left in my sticky gun. I'm trying to stick lock and load shots on scouts that are evasive, not just, you know, run straight scouts. And speaking of picking a bad target there, I really should have picked the doorway and dealt with the Demo Man, I think, in retrospect, because he killed my medic. And although I did escape with my life and managed to not get sawed by that very brazen medic, who was just like, you know what, I'm just going to charge right through here. I'm going to saw everybody. I am the invincible medic. I get that feeling sometimes when you're behind people and they don't notice you. You get 2 uber saw kills in a row or something. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. This guy's painted into a corner. Unfortunate for him. And I've decided pretty much at this point that I am going to just hang out in this little room with this engineer who happens to have no hat or hair, for that matter, and just assist him and push out from that little room periodically and fire stickies everywhere and dare anyone to come around the corner. But I apparently got an assist on a market gardener kill, so that's a thing. And I saw that scout going by, and I'm like trying to like pick the most random moment to shoot him. Of course I didn't hit him, but there he is anyway a moment later, and I was so surprised I didn't even have a sticky for him. He goes running off, and someone is shooting at a gun somewhere. I can't even tell. So I'm like, you know what, let's just chase this spy. Let's head back to the front, since again, I've got a medic, I've got an overheal. You know, 260 health plus heals means you can run up on a heavy, yeah, as long as you've got a doorway or something to dodge around a little bit, and not really take too much damage. And I noticed the teleporter there, and I pulled out the lock and load real quick, like maybe he won't move for another second, and saving grace of those loose cannon shots is that the rolling ones do not do very much damage, so even though that was a crit, it did not kill him. And I thought I killed the Engie there, because I saw I got 2 kills at once there, or I thought I did, but no, it was the teleporter, the sentry, the Demo Man, and the dispenser is what died, and then the Engie actually ran off. So, backed up by my team again with a medic, again with a crits creep, come around this corner. I called for medic rather than saying hit the crits. I need to remember that I actually have, you know, a microphone, and I should use it during combat. It would be handy. It's just up to that point in the round I hadn't. So, lesson learned and reinforced. Don't get quiet on the mic just because you're tired and drinking coffee and having whatever excuses are all irrelevant. Talk. Communicate. And things will go more smoothly. There's no good reason not to. And I really expected that guy to be a spy, but he didn't chase me, and I wasn't about to chase him. And I got that sticky on the side of the rock, and I was like, I bet someone will chase me down here. And yeah, he was fully overhealed. 248 on a fully overhealed soldier. Yeah. So the only thing I can do here is just dissuade people from following me. Like, well, you can follow me, but oh my god, it's a spy, and he was just standing there, it seemed like. I was just like, what the hell is he doing? He wasn't trying to stab me or anything. It almost surprised me as much in the commentary as it did in the moment. Like, forgot about that moment entirely, even though this happened yesterday morning. Once I respawned, though, I just headed back to the front line and started chasing a medic again. Because, you know, there's not a better class to chase around, and there's a spy on our team, and medic shooting crossbow bolts at me, and they've got a telly over there, I'm going to assume, and I went jumping away here, thinking I'd be able to kill people on the roof again, and again, the roof is just my foil. It is, my plans are foiled by the roof. It's just no good at all for me. I need to start looking before I leap. I think there's a saying, something about that. I don't know, we'll say there's not. So, you know, getting my health back. Again, this NG nest is still up, and even though it's coming under pressure now, it's really hard to take this corner if you've got opposition trying to push you off of it. You know, you've got to be able to be left alone, pretty much, to take this corner out. And so, here come all these grenades, and the soldier shoots a rocket at it, and here's this crit sticky. I'm like, just get the hell out of here, crit sticky. The NG actually was shooting at it, and so I probably actually delayed the destruction of the crit sticky by doing that. But I was more concerned with getting it the hell away from us. So I did happen to notice the cart was moving, and even with explosive resistance, there's still a limit on how powerful the vaccinator is. A crit lock and load is going to pretty much always destroy anybody, because the crits are not having the extra damage from the crit. The 2/3 additional damage is not reduced by the vaccinator, and so I got lucky there with the crit grenade. Otherwise, it's very likely that I would have just damaged him and knocked him off the ledge, perhaps. And there's my lucky cart save number 1. You know, at this point I realize, like, this cart needs a hair of an inch more time to go in, and there's, like, nobody here. So I'm just going to put all my stickies around the cart. I'm going to stand on the cart. I'm not going to leave it alone. I'm going to make sure this thing does not move in. And once I had 8 stickies on the ground on all sides of the cart, primarily behind it, because, you know, I want to have a little bit of range behind it if somebody comes in and tries to feign touching the cart and stop short. Plus, the red stickies don't show up really well on the red ground, and so that's kind of handy as well. And I bumped into that pyro, and I noticed he was a spy, so I just immediately backed away from my stickies and blew them up. And now that's very important to remember to do, to back away from your stickies, and that scout, once again, is smart enough to know not to run into a pile of stickies, and so he heads off to pursue alternate avenues of advancement. And so I get this crits, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to push forward. Surely my team has got the cart now, and my team doesn't have the cart. So they do get that point after all. They gain another, however long, 4.5 minutes or something. And I've lost my medic. He's on the other side there of the gap separating me and the heavy. So I head upstairs. I think I'm going to get away with something here, but here comes the scout. Knocks me down to 25 health. Feet a lock and load shot through the doorway, only to get blasted by the scout and hanging over the railing. Yeah. Embarrassment pose, activate. So yeah, effective scouting there, and bad shot with the lock and load. I should have probably aimed a little bit more left, so that I would have covered the entire cross-section of the door, instead of the dead center of it, because, you know, I missed him. And again, Pyro who's actually a spy coming in, and here I sped up the video because it's just demo spam at the cart, and the windows, and the corner, for like 20 seconds, and although I'm kind of disparaging it, just calling it demo spam, when there's people there, and you're pushing them off your corner, it's a valid tactic. I'd say it's as valid as camping, it's as valid as sniping, it's as valid as, you know, side stabs. It's all valid tactics. Depends on how exclusively you employ them, whether or not they become annoying or not. And right there I got a crit, and I realized it went away. It didn't come back, and I thought, I needed to check my back. Okay, it's a spy. And oh, if that lock and load shot had hit him, I would have been so pleased. And right there I saw our spy coming by me while I was being chased by that scout, and I was like, oh, perfect, he'll get him as he comes by. And I thought, I'm probably still going to die before I get to the health, and I'm going to die before I get a lock and load shot reloaded. But I really thought the spy was going to kill that scout, and the spy just ran right back out the left door, like, oh man, a scout. I don't know, it just struck me as hilarious at the time. Like, I thought it was funny as hell at the moment. Probably because I was dead. That's always, you gotta always find humor in your failures. And right here I saw the sniper just not even moving, and I was like, yay, crit lock and load, and the guy got headshotted right before it hit. Like, I'm willing to bet that would have had enough range on it that it would have partially damaged that demo as well. I don't know, I see a medic meleeing thin air, and I'm like, I need to assist in this, whatever it is. It's probably purposeful, and it was. If anything, though, I probably robbed him of a little bit of uber charge. I felt bad about that. I was like, well, I'll just try my best to push people off this corner here, and fire crit stickies everywhere, or, you know, normal stickies, barring dumb luck. Speaking of crits, though, that rolling grenade came in, and unlike the shots from the loose cannon, the normal rolling grenades do quite a lot of damage if they are under your feet, and they happen to blow up with a crit on them. But here's a really effective crits. Even though I did not get that heavy in the medic pair there at the end, unfortunately, I was kind of sad about that, and I came around the corner again because I had stuck the first 2 shots. And I'm like, okay, well, 2 lock and load shots followed by 2 lock and load shots will probably almost about do it. And I was kind of crossing my fingers for a crit, but I kind of hit the dispenser more than the heavy, so he still had half his life left. I think the dispenser took the entirety of that shot. It wasn't aimed high enough. So, another lesson to take to heart if you're aiming at a heavy, aim over the dispenser. And somebody called a spy here, and I was just running around. Somebody called spy near spawn. I was like, hey, look, a teleporter. I wonder where the hell this goes with 1 minute left. So I got it in my head. I was like, well, I have an opportunity, as long as nobody notices me, to quickly jump up in the side and get on the little ledge and maybe bombard them from this little side attic area and maybe destroy a teleporter. But I got shot from the left, and I thought the tele, or the sentry, I'm sorry, was up on the top level, but it wasn't. It was way over there, down on the ground. So I chucked some grenades down there. I noticed the cart being pushed by 4 people, 3 people being stopped briefly, and then 3 more people again. I'm like, whoa, that's going to go in. Like, that's a bunch of people repelling defenders, and there's the spy kind of prevented me from having to fight a soldier. So I come running in, the cart's got 4 people on it, 1 crit sticky, and the cart is clear. Crit stickies have a way of doing that. And as I mentioned earlier, when you happen to detonate grenades, they detonate starting with the closest one to you. Stickies, I didn't actually mention that. They detonate with the one closest to you. So when I noticed the scout pushing the cart there, and I hit detonate in a panic, like, oh my god, even if I die, it's worth it. Yeah, it's going to blow up the one closest to you, and then none of the other ones go off, because they go off staggered by like a millisecond or something to that effect. They do stagger the detonation so that you can't self-detonate yourself and a whole bunch of people across the way. But we did manage to win, despite my ineptitudes and glaring failures, and despite the round being fairly standard in a lot of ways. I don't know, it was still a good game, like that fellow said, and I liked it, and I liked the save at the end, and I was like, I'm gonna commentary that. So thank you so much for watching, do like it if you liked it, and I will catch you next time. Peace.